Hey guys, this is Nick Brattain of Brattain Sports Performance. Today we're going to talk about our plank series and plank variations. So again, this is an exercise that we use within our warm-ups on a daily basis. The core is something that we don't spend enough time using, just because the amount of time that we spend in a seated position and a slouched over position, we tend to disengage our core throughout the day. And so one of the things that we want to do early in our warm-up is to get that activated, to get those muscles recruited so that we're able to use those throughout our workout. So typically within our warm-up, we're going to go through two different planks. We're going to go through a side plank and we're also going to go through a front plank. So first we're going to set up on our side plank. Now, when we go through this, there are a number of things that we're looking for, and there are also a couple of variations that we're going to go through. So if I start at the top, the first thing that we're looking for is that we maintain a neutral cervical spine, or our neck is straight. So as we go through this, we want to make sure that our head doesn't drop down, that we're not looking down toward our feet, but we're able to keep our neck straight. The next thing I'm looking at is that our elbow is set up right underneath our shoulder. We want to make sure that it's not too far down below our shoulder and not too far up above. This tends to create some issues within the shoulder joint over a period of time. So our elbow is directly underneath our shoulder. Our hips are all the way through, and we're keeping our body completely flat. We don't want to see the hips drop back at all as we go through this movement. And lastly, that our feet are stacked on top of each other and just the side of the shoe is in the ground. So we don't want our feet to be split. We also don't want to be flipping the edge of our shoe down in order to create some traction within the ground below us. So the first thing that we'll do is we'll just go through a traditional side plank. So at this point, we'll just pick our hips up. We're in a good flat position. The hips are all the way through. We maintain that position as we go through it. Now from there, the next regression for that is that we're going to bend our knees. We're going to bring our feet back behind us. So from here, our knees are bent at a 90-degree angle. We have our hips completely extended and all the way through in a straight line, basically from our ear all the way down to our knee. So like I said, that would be the regression from the normal side plank that we would go through. So as we go through this, again, the timing that we're looking at here is we're typically going to hold our side plank for 10 to 20 seconds. Then we're going to go through a variety of other exercises, whether it may be pulses where we're bringing our hips up and down off the ground, or potentially even leg raises where we're picking our foot up off that bottom foot. So like I said, we'll go through a number of those variations before we leave the side plank. The next movement we're going to go into is a front plank. So when we get set up for this front plank, there are a couple of things that we're looking for, but also a number of things that we tend to see within our new clients that we try to work out of. So again, for this setup position, what we're going to do is we're going to start out with that neutral cervical spine, so that flat neck. We do not want to be looking up in front of us or looking around. We want to make sure that we keep that neck nice and flat. Working down, the next thing that we want to see is that our elbows are right underneath our shoulders. We have our hands underneath our head, and then they're not moved out or separated in front of us. The next thing that we're looking at is, again, that we have that neutral lumbar spine and that we don't have any types of dips or curves in our back. We also don't want to see the hips come up too high. As we move down, we want to make sure that the ankles are just about a 90-degree angle, so our toes are underneath our heels and we're not too far extended or up on our tippy toes. Obviously, as we go through that, it tends to shift where our body is at. Now again, the front plank is a movement where we're going to spend 20 to 30 seconds within before going through any type of variation. As we go through those variations, they tend to evolve based on the level of the athlete. And again, that's just part of one of the regressions that we work through. So these are two movements that are great to add to your warm-up, no matter who the athlete or what the sport that you're preparing for. Like I said, start low with 10 to 15 seconds before building up to 20, 30, even 40 seconds, and then begin to add those variations. There's really no need to be holding these positions for longer than a minute if we can add some complexity, like I said, with other variations to the movement. So try these at home, throw these in your workout. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Thanks.